guys, Henry here. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Redmi Note 11 series. I've got the Redmi Note 11 and the Redmi Note 11S with me here. We're going to be looking at the differences between these phones and how good they are. And I feel like I can talk about these phones really well without using a script because I've used it extensively, especially the camera. I'm playing a 1-minute video for you to see what I did with the Redmi Note 11S, and you tell me what you think about that video. And afterwards, I'm talking about the differences from these phones and how good the camera system on the Redmi Note 11S. But is it all goody news about this phone, or are there things that you should be worried about? Stay tuned and find out in this video. So welcome back. What did you think about that video? I'd love to hear from you in the comment section of this video. And let's get straight into it. What are the differences between the Redmi Note 11 and the Redmi Note 11S? Well, here are just a couple of differences. And the major ones are the cameras and the processor. So the camera, the main camera on the Redmi Note 11S is a 108 megapixel camera, while it's a 50 megapixel on the Redmi Note 11. You've also got the 16 megapixel on the front-facing camera on the Redmi Note 11S, while you've got a 13 megapixel on the Redmi Note 11. For the processors, you've got the Helio G96 on the Redmi Note 11S, while you've got the Snapdragon 680 on the Redmi Note 11. Every other specification on these phones are exactly the same. You've got a 6.43-inch 90Hz AMOLED display capped at 1080p resolution on the front of this display. You've got 5000 mAh batteries on both phones. You've got exactly the same build, and it's Corning Gorilla Glass 3 on the front of both of these phones. So you've got options for 6GB of RAM that comes with 64 or 128GB of internal storage, and 8GB of RAM and 128GB of internal storage. You've got all the classics from Xiaomi here. You've got your IR blasters to the top of the phone, your speakers at the top, you've got your 3.5mm headphone jack at the top as well. And at the bottom, you've also got an extra pair of speakers, which is not something you really see in this price range of phones. I really like the back of these phones. They are a matte finish, as you can see here. They don't take fingerprints at all, and they really look classy. So what are my joys about this phone? I'll tell you, MIUI 13. It's really smooth on this phone. Although it's still based on Android 11, but again, it's still usable and it's good. I'm sure that they'll be bringing out Android 12 very soon for MIUI 13 on these phones. but for now we're on Android 11. But again, the experience is really enjoyable. The Helio G96 or the Snapdragon 680 really performs well in terms of handling your day-to-day uses on this phone. I've had absolutely no stutters, no breakdowns and all of that stuff using MIUI 13 on the Redmi Note 11S and Note 11. They just work perfectly well. Again, the next thing I like about this phone is just those external speakers. I mean, you don't find this on a phone at this price point. And Xiaomi has built this one to be really, really good. They're loud, they're crisp, although when it gets too loud, you can get some, clipping and all of that, but it's good and it's usable and I like it. Again, the build quality here, this is an absolute beauty. You need to see this phone in person, hold it in person to understand how good this phone feels in hand. Now let's talk about those cameras. I use the cameras on the Redmi Note 11S especially extensively, and I can tell you that, look, the camera on the Redmi Note 11S I was very impressed with. I mean, it took excellent pictures almost all the time. If you are in daylight, like you're in an outing, you're in the jungle, anywhere you are, and you take out this phone from your pocket and you shoot a picture with it, you're going to be absolutely fine. This is what you can refer to as a point and shoot camera. You take it out of your pocket, point it and shoot, and you almost always get really, really good pictures. As you can see scrolling on your screen, I took a ton of pictures and all of them, were good. How is the portrait mode though? Well, the portrait mode, I would score it an 85 simply because it's not really good at edge detection in some places, but with your face, shoulders, and upper body, it's really, really good at edge detection. But when you're taking a full portrait of a person, then places like the arms, if the arms are stretched out, as you can see from the image right now, will be missed out a little bit. But again, the bokeh blur, the background blur was really excellent. I absolutely loved it. Now, what are the downsides to the cameras on both of these phones? Well, it's simply one thing for me, the fact that it doesn't shoot in 4K. I was capped at 1080p at 30 frames per second, and I felt like they could have done more. They could have given us the power to shoot 4K on this device. I mean, I don't know what the thinking was behind this, but again, I thought Xiaomi would have done a better job by giving us 4K. In the video I made, or that I showed earlier in this video, I really wanted to shoot at 4K. I had my gimbals and all that stuff, but again, I was limited to 1080p rather, and that's why the image or the video was not really very sharp. But that being aside, these phones have got excellent camera systems, and I would recommend these phones to absolutely anybody. One thing I didn't talk about is the fact that this phone comes with an IP53 rating, which means you have a little bit of water resistance and dust resistance on this device. So those are my thoughts on the Redmi Note 11S and the Redmi Note 11. I think these are fantastic mid-range devices and really very affordable. I'll leave the prices on the screen so you can see how much each variant of this phone costs. And I think Xiaomi is really taking the market by storm here by releasing phones at this price point that are this good. The Redmi Note 10 Pro from last year was one of the best phones for last year. People still buy those phones up till date. Guys, if you have any questions about the Redmi Note 11 series, please leave them down in the comment section of this video and I'll get back to as much of them as I can. Thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.